Hello, all Bondex, to a very, very special edition of our live stream. We're here with CEO Sebastien Borget and president of the Sandbox, one of the biggest gaming and metaverse companies in the world. To give you guys just a brief introduction, the Sandbox is a virtual world where players can build, own, and monetize their gaming experiences in the Ethereum blockchain. The goal is to disrupt existing game makers like Minecraft or Roblox by creating a creator economy in which creators and players and users have true ownership of their creations through non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and reward them for their participation and the value that they add to the ecosystem. I'm Ignacio Palomera, CEO of Bondex, and we're here to talk talent, future work, and future of the metaverse and gaming with Sebastien Borget. Borget, please introduce yourself and the company.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today and to talk about talent in the metaverse, talent in Web3. I'm the co-founder and CEO at the Sandbox. The Sandbox, it's a decentralized gaming virtual world where we want anyone to be able to create 3D content, games, experiences, truly own the content they create or they earn as a player, and be able to monetize it the way they want. So we've grown the Sandbox as a platform with very accessible creation tool. We have a very active community of hundreds of thousands of creators who are using those tools on a daily basis, and now over 200 studios around the world who are hiring themselves to build experiences that are more social, more fun, more immersive, and that you can access using an avatar that you own, as well as all your digital assets, your wearable, your virtual land, your virtual health, etc. And you can exchange with other users. You can use outside of Sandbox as well, or interact with your NFTs in Sandbox. That's really the big vision we have at the Sandbox.
And I've seen you guys have some partnerships with incredible companies. You guys are really bridging a lot of Web 2 and massive brands to come into the metaverse and Web 3. So you're doing a great service for the ecosystem and the industry with real use cases. One of them was my previous employer. I actually started my career as an investment banking in HSBC, and I saw that you guys are actually hosting a rugby tournament for them on the All Sevens for Hong Kong. How do you get these Web 2 companies and brands to come to Sandbox on the platform? What is the appeal for them to be in Sandbox?
So over time, since we started Sandbox originally in 2012 as a mobile game, a game where users could create just by the touch of their finger. But quickly, we also understood like beyond user-generated content, we could also incorporate major brands and allow people to create with their favorite characters. So back then we had Pac-Man and Shrek and Ghostbusters or Invincible, and people really enjoy creating with their favorite content and characters. Around 2017, we worked on the third version of Sandbox, this time as a 3D multiplayer, multi-platform virtual world that used blockchain and NFTs. And we kept on that DNA to involve brands, mostly from gaming and entertainment at the beginning. So we brought Care Bears as the first brand, followed by The Walking Dead and Smurf. But progressively, we also saw like the metaverse had the potential to enable like even more social experience beyond gaming. So, or using our gaming DNA, applying it, but to do virtual shows, virtual concerts, art galleries, museum, and that's how we work to bring and attract brands in fashion like Gucci or Adidas, in lifestyle, in um, in music with music artists like Snoop Dogg, Steve Aoki, Warner Music, or even like celebrities like Gordon Ramsay, Tony Hawk in sports, or um, Paris Hilton, just to name a few. And to those brands that we work to add, thinking about culture here, we also start to see the interest, and some brands came on their own. And HSBC actually came on their own. So they acquired a plot of land into the Sandbox virtual map and decided to announce like entering the metaverse through that. And what's exciting is like definitely a company like HSBC, it's a bank, it's about finance, but they are leveraging the creativity possibility of Sandbox in a very different way than trying to sell like finance services. They want to understand the space by being early on, know those bank and finance institution, and they've never been the first to jump into Web 1 or Web 2 or even social media. So here they understood that there is a possibility to be closer toward like what the future could be for digital asset and true digital ownership. and how the users can benefit from that. And they started in case of HSBC by like sport with rugby, the rugby 7, as you said, and um, engaging into social experience, offering value for people who are going to spend time into their experience. And I'm glad that we're opening today, so it's very timely, an event where HSBC has this first social hub that is available, and anyone can come, play, and visit, and give their thoughts about that experience.
That's super exciting, and there needs to be more companies like this that are bringing Web 2 into Web 3. You guys are a bridge, essentially, that really allows them to enter the metaverse, which is incredible. And I have a question for you. This conversation we can have later. Have you guys ever done a career fair in your metaverse in the sandbox?
Oh, so that's very interesting. I think um, there will be like you can use your land to run a various kind of activities. We had like a wedding recently happening in Singapore into a virtual land, and so organizing like job fair or various kind of events is to me like makes a lot of sense. And it's the best way as well. If you want to recruit candidates, which you want to prove that understand the metaverse, what's the best place to recruit them than in the metaverse? So you want to check like they have an avatar, how they interact in it, are they creators, did they build content on their own, how active they are with the community, and also I think like there's some studies that following the pandemic have proven that interacting through virtual world uh, allows you to better feel like the personality and the true self of many people, in a sense like there is less inhibition or being scared of like what other might think about you in case like you give a wrong reply to a question, etc. So it's usually more engaging, and has given like has proven that this method to provide like more leverage, more attention as well, and is much more fun.
I love that idea. So you think that recruiting on the metaverse could potentially offer a more real version of someone, because instead of an interview setting, which is you're like in person, and you might be behaving a certain way because you think you want to please your interviewer, right? Maybe if through an avatar you would have the confidence to be more yourself, and actually that would actually give the employer an advantage because you're getting to know the person better. That's super interesting, Sebastien. That's a very, very interesting idea. And that leads me to the next question. When you've built one of the most successful metaverse companies and gaming companies in the world, how have you gone about building your team? How does the company work? Is it hybrid, distributed? How do you guys go about managing and finding your talent?
So I think like we could say Sandbox is in a high growth phase. We started the year with roughly 200 people in the company. We are 400 today. We have 10 offices location around the world and a distributed team around, well, probably 30 different locations that include in France, in Paris, in Lyon, in Lille, in London, in Montreal, in Canada, in Los Angeles, in Tokyo, in Seoul, in Hong Kong, in Buenos Aires, and in Uruguay. Um, that's quite a lot of people. And uh, first of all, like we are looking for people who are really passionate about like making a real contribution and understanding how they are contributing to like building that journey that is a metaverse. So I think everyone, the number one quality of the staff and the people at Sandbox is like they understand it's going to be hard to work, it's going to be demanding because we are such in like high growth and there's so many things happening at the same time, but they are dedicating towards like let's make it happen. And that's really exciting. And then depending on like office's location, we have like specialties like development, both like web or Unity for the game maker and game client is mostly based in Latin America, in Argentina, Buenos Aires, and in Uruguay. Whereas you have other countries that are more focused around marketing and publishing, like France, and some countries like Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, who are their almost like self-contained unit who can both like make business development, player growth on those key markets, and also production of content, experience, and marketing them. So it's really interesting. We feel like anywhere you are in the world, there would be a way to join the sandbox, or either directly by being hired in sandbox and grow a market, or indirectly as well by working within the sandbox ecosystem. As I was mentioning, like in our introduction, there's now more than 200 studios building and creating experiences for the metaverse, more specifically, quite often with sandbox, not exclusively, but most often. And I think like every continent have like talented artists and creators that now manipulate those tools and create content and experiences.
I love it. This is one of the smartest company organizations and team systems I've ever heard. I find that blockchain and Web3 companies are at the pioneering of the future of work because there's a new industry. So they've gotten to remake their internal systems and processes almost from scratch. So this global hub system in which you have specialties as well as individual country units, it's actually very novel. You've innovated in the way that you're working and the company's working. So I congratulate you on a very, very smart system design. Um, Another question is, when you're looking for candidates, apart from passion and someone willing that's excited about working on the career, what are some of the key attitudes and capabilities that you look for? Is it someone that has to have Web3 metaverse experience? And what are those key skills that you look for when you hire?
So we're still so early in the space that it's hard to find like someone who's already like Web3 or metaverse skills. All of those he or she will be acquiring at some. However, they need to have like the curiosity. So it's hard to enter Web3 and the blockchain space if you don't yet have like a wallet or NFTs yourself or be involved. That's the number one thing we look at. If you don't have that, we actually will make you create a wallet and make you test and benchmark and buy your first NFT with us and receive SAND tokens. So yes, having an interview at Sandbox means like you receive tokens because it like you need to understand what true digital ownership is, what is a wallet. If you join us, you get more benefits and so on. If you don't, well, at least we made one more Web3 user with a wallet, and hopefully they will have that culture and keep on going in the ecosystem, if not at Sandbox. We try because we have to build a space that combine both gaming and blockchain concept and also culture of like music, lifestyle, fashion, architecture, art, and so on. We try to have people who are more senior usually and have already had experience in gaming or into one of those vertical, so they really bring value in the way they work, in their experience before, in the fact they have already launched product and work with teams. So we have mostly senior people in our teams, and the juniors who join were very motivated and skilled, so that compensated this lack of seniority. We're our competitors have over 15 years of like technology and large team that have developed products, so we need to catch up rapidly with products that are matching in terms of quality what they are offering, and that's for us like a necessary phase that we're going through.
That was an incredibly complete answer, and I thank you for it. And I love to hear that. I love the ethos that you represent. Exactly. The supply of talent with Web3 experience is very low. So we need to make more. And it's about finding people that are capable, that are eager, and also that can learn and are smart enough to do it. So it's very smart that you pick senior people for other industries that can learn. And I love that you increase the ecosystem, whether they get a job or not, by being part of the interview process. I haven't heard that before. I'll be recommending it to all the Web3, sorry, all the Bondex clients, that should be part of the interview process to use their products, because that way you're increasing the number of Web3 users, whether they come into the company or not. I really, really, really like that you do that, Sebastien. And to go forward, to go beyond, part of what I like about this pioneering Web3 is that we're flipping the switch. In the case of Bondex, we're flipping the switch of professional networks. We're allowing people to monetize their networks. We're flipping this. You are flipping the script on gaming, allowing creators, right, to have ownership versus just being users that pay. And that's part of the Web3 dream. So theoretically, if you wanted to, you could either do it outside of your 9 to 5 job, right? Or you could do it as a full-time job to be a creator in the sandbox. So I'd love to hear a little bit about a few ways of if you wanted to find opportunities, not just to make money, but to create and to be and for ownership and to really change the game, what are some of the opportunities of the sandbox beyond the company itself and working for the company?
Well, I think it's well to work ourselves at the company. I would say it's pretty important to keep an open mind, to be creative, to also feel like we don't know the answer, we don't know the business model. No one has succeeded in here before, even not ourselves. So we can try things. We can eventually make mistakes and understand why we made them. But we should never come up with an attitude that is like, oh, I know everything, I'm the best at this, and so on. Because so far, and as far as I know, no one has yet become like the market leader. So we try also to have an attitude which is more like team players and people who have experience but are not like um, too high of a self-esteem. I don't know how you say, like bragging too much about their own success, because that's suspicious in this case.
So
Like,
basically,
did you really do that yourself?
cocky or overconfident. You're looking for a degree of someone humble, basically.
Yes.
Interesting. So who would you consider your Web2 and Web3 competitors?
So I don't think there's any Web3 competitors. Like Web3 is an ecosystem where, like, as we grow, anyone benefits from that growth. So we've been very supportive to like the growth of Decentraland, of Upland, of like Somnium Space, of course, of Voxel, etc. We are part of like same groups. We're working on interoperability topics with the Open Metaverse Alliance. As a blockchain game alliance, my role is to grow the industry. Now we're proud to have 400 members as well. If they grow, we grow with benefits. We get more users in general into the ecosystem. In Web2, however, it's a little different story. Like we are in front of like giants with hundreds of millions of users who are taking away the metaverse narrative for themselves and still keeping their very centralized walled garden, siloed world, and trying to get their users captive in there, retaining the value, locking the users from transferring their data, their identity to other places. And that's for us where the real competitors, and where, like, if we want to see far further in the future, in 10 years, where do we want to see the internet going in 10 years? We want to have an internet where users have control of their data, have ownership of their data. So for this to succeed, we need to convert more and more of users through various utilities and applications, the metaverse being one, gaming being one, but not only, finance being one, DeFi being one, that start to put users back into power and make users be the real one who receive the value from the content they contribute in a platform like Sandbox as creator, or the time they spend into those applications, not the platform itself capturing all that value for itself and not redistributing it fairly.
I love everything I've heard about that answer. Number one is, what a game changer. Can you think any other industry in which everyone bands together, realizing that together you're stronger than separate? That doesn't happen in every industry. So that's fantastic that you realize the more gaming, the more metaverse users that we have, the more all of our platforms are going to grow. And number two is fighting the Web3 promise of sharing the revenues and changing the business models of yesterday. We are very much aligned with that at Bondex. We're trying to do that for talent. Talent platforms today are very much the siloed monopoly platforms and intermediaries who extract way too much value for what they provide, and they hog all the profits to themselves. So we're trying to do a paradigm shift on them as well. So we're very much aligned in our missions, and I congratulate you on all the progress that the Sandbox has made, and also on the alliance that you have created to push the whole space forward. And Sebastien, with that, we're actually concluding our interview today. I thank you very much for joining today and for your time. And I just want to say, guys, everyone that's listening, you should be looking at a career at the Sandbox. Think about what they're building. Think about what their mission is. I cannot think of a better company in this field to be a part of. And with that, Sebastien, I'll leave you to do any closing statement that you would like to about the company and about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Nina. So that's a great recommendation. Actually, many of the members of the community in Sandbox, they started their own studios, they starting their own business in the metaverse because they were curious. So one thing I would encourage everyone, be curious. Try out Sandbox for yourself. It's totally free. You do not need to buy land, etc. Just download the creation tool, making content, whether you make games or make art. If you like it, and usually it's pretty fun, you will discover new skills, and we have a lot of demands for those talents, the creators, the community managers, the curators, the event organizer, the architect, the fashion designers. All of them can evolve and grow successfully as a business. And the more we onboard people from around the world, the more their culture as well will be present in the metaverse, and that will make a new world without frontier and more inclusive and diverse content. So I hope to see you in the metaverse. Try out Sandbox, and hopefully we'll grow the metaverse together.
Absolutely. The future of work is here, the creator economy is here, and a new era of the internet is here. So please, guys, check out the Sandbox.